Hey, hey, thank you everybody for joining me today. I am so excited. You know, whoever is watching today, we're going to have something so special. You know, I've only been on, I don't know how many months, but this, oh wow, I'm just jumping out of my skin here. Before I introduce my guest, I just want to spend a few minutes, or not even a few minutes, a few seconds, and tell you, you know, there was a theater here in Hollywood, and it's not there anymore. It broke my heart when it was all over, and it was my favorite place, and I always brought all my friends to it, and it was the Silent Movie Theater. And when they showed Charlie Chaplin or Laurel and Hardy, or even Harold Lloyd, they were my favorites. They would always call me and let me know that that was going to be screened that night, and I'd call everybody in my phone book to come join me because it was always so exciting to go there. And I learned so much for with comedy, you know, because here these three they were the kings. But today I have a huge favorite, and this is so exciting. I'm about ready to introduce someone who, are we on?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, I just didn't see myself, you know. For me today, this person that we're going to see in just a few seconds is way at the top of my list and the top of your list. And he is the king, and he has created the most incredible character. Paul Reubens, Pee Wee Herman, wow. I gotta tell you, right before we were all locked up, the last show that I saw was at the Wilton Theater, and they announced that Paul Reubens would be there in person, and he'd be screening his movie that he made 35 years ago, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And I got to tell you something. He sold out in 20 minutes. And then they added a second day. I saw that movie before, many, many years ago when it opened. As a matter of fact, I went to the opening. And that night, I wish you all could have been with me. I never, ever saw an audience react. And we just had the greatest time. So, let me tell you, when he goes back out on the road with this movie, don't walk, run and get a ticket, because you'll have the greatest time of your life. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce, and kids, I know they're watching, but block their ears, because here he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Reubens. Paul. Applause, applause, applause. Where are you?
He's coming on. There he is.
Hello, can you see me? Hello?
Connecting. He's connecting.
Did I do something wrong?
Okay, Paul.
Hello? Hello?
It's the magic of the airwaves.
Let me tell you,
Uh-oh. What did I
not
do?
only is Paul, I idolize him, but he's also, I'm so lucky, he's my friend. And we both love show business. It's our lives. And we talk almost every night. There you are, Paul. Paul.
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
Paul. I was doing a little tap dance
I
while
know
you
I
were.
pushed the wrong button as
You
always.
pushed the wrong button. Okay. Who we gonna blame for that?
I don't know. I have a long list of people to blame for everything.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on. Hey, Paul. You know,
Good.
when and I'm sure you have done lectures before too. You know, at theater art departments, and the first question I am always asked, uh, either the college students, I've done them in all kinds of schools, you know, high school, and the first question is, how did you get started? And, you know, that's going to be my first question. And then I'll tell you how I got started.
Well, I already know how you got started, and so does everybody watching this.
You think so?
Oh my God, we've heard this story like 10 times already.
Just
But who's counting? Who's counting? Me. I'm going to turn my light up a little bit brighter. I'm not happy with my lighting here, Sid. Hold on one sec.
okay. Oh my, you're hey, I gotta ask you something. We haven't seen each other in a long time because of we've been locked up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. You look incredible. Do you sleep in a refrigerator?
I've had a lot of professional work done.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait for all of this to be over, and you got to come over for my raw food dinner, and I'll make you a raw pie. Oh,
It sounds
wonderful.
fantastic. As long as you can cook it, it sounds really good.
No, I don't cook. I only eat raw food.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I've had some of your raw food. Um, I still have to see a specialist about it. So
Yeah. Okay.
I want to answer your question. I got
Okay.
started back in vaudeville in the 1920s.
You did not.
No,
Oh,
no,
come
and I
on.
wanted to
You're
clarify
talking
one thing
about me
before I
now.
answer that. I wanted to, since you said the number 35, 35th anniversary of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I
Yeah.
did want to clarify it because a lot of people don't realize I was only 8.5 when I made that movie.
35. Wait a minute. I'm not good at arithmetic. I always count on my fingers.
Yeah,
So you were 8,
I was 8
and
years old.
35 is how much?
37,
4.
38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43,
But
43 and 3/4. But it's just
wow,
a
no
number.
wonder you look
You
incredible.
know, age is just a number unless you're Swiss cheese.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You're talking to me. And please,
it's
I
it's
am so
partly
grateful.
well, I think people know this already, but part of that's and you know this already, but
I do.
that's part of why I love hanging around with you because I feel like a baby.
Wow.
Because you're now what are you
I'm
about
91.
Oh, I was
91.
gonna say 103.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's close. It's close. I hope I make it that far.
you
But
are you are the healthiest person of anybody I know. I don't know if your fans, people watching, know that about you, but well, one thing I wanted to get to later, but I'm going to get to right now because this is a perfect segue into it. Is you owned a health food store at one time,
yes, I did on Beverly. Yeah.
and what was it
And
called? Tell the name of it.
well, it was no Air One, and Air One moved, and I took the name and I spun it around. I used the same fonts, and I called it Nowhere. And so it would be familiar to people. And I'm the first one to bring wheatgrass juice to LA.
Oh, you're to
Yeah.
blame. You're to
And,
blame.
and of course, you drink that every day, right?
I'm soaking in it right now.
Well, some people do take a bath in it. Yeah, that.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I
Who
think
is
I
that?
have.
I'm not calling you.
No, a big celebrity is calling me.
Oh, yeah. Who is that?
Gonna
God,
have
you're
to call.
such a name dropper.
Gonna have to
Wait
call
a
you.
minute.
I'm gonna have to call you back, Brad. Uh,
Brad. Brad who?
I didn't say.
No. Celebrities don't like their name
No,
used on
I don't like my.
Instagram.
I don't want
Yeah.
my name
So
used.
what are we getting to? Okay.
Well, you asked me about how I got started, which
Yeah,
it's
that's
really,
interesting.
I don't know if it's really that interesting. I mean, I can't even remember how I got started. I came up with a little character named Pee Wee Herman. I was in a comedy group called the Groundlings.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
my story is the same as everybody who you think became an overnight sensation. I was around for, I was going to say millions of years, many
Well,
years
me
before,
too. Yeah.
before things happened. Well, you started out and you were like 6 or 7 years old. I was,
No, I was 10. I was 10. Yeah, you know. Well,
It's a
um,
huge difference.
it is a huge difference. When you're 6 or 7, you just don't have,
What you have at 10.
there wasn't really as much of a formula really when you were starting out. Like that's part of my attraction to the golden age of Hollywood and old school Hollywood is you see all these movie stars and you realize like a good portion of those people, I guess it's sort of legendary. Some of it's legend and not true, but I always feel like most of those big stars were people who somebody went like, excuse me, are you an actor? And the person's like, no, I'm a truck driver, or no, I love being a waitress here. And but people didn't aspire to be movie stars like they do today. And even when I was starting out, it was a thing. People were already starting to go like, I'd love to be famous. I'd love to get on TV series. That's where there's some money. And so I think like I mean I joined a comedy group. I joined a comedy group called the Groundlings when I got out of art school. I went to California Institute of the Arts, the
Right.
Walt Disney School, and I got out of there and I joined a comedy group and I made 15 appearances on the Gong Show, the original Gong Show.
As Pee
And
Wee Herman?
no,
No,
all different. I was in disguise most of the time.
really.
Weren't supposed
Wow,
to
that's
be on
interesting.
more than once. So I supported myself for a couple years while I was in the Groundlings and trying to figure out what to do. And I one day we were doing a sketch, an extended comedy sketch where we were all it took place in a comedy club and we were all supposed to be comedians that you would see in a
Hmm.
comedy club. And I was such a terrible stand-up. I couldn't remember the punchlines to jokes. And so I thought I would just be a really bad stand-up, that when you would look at the guy, you would go like, this is someone who'll never make it as a stand-up. And that's how Pee Wee Herman was born. And I think if I did anything right, I've just been writing about this in my memoir that I'm writing, but
Yes, I do. We talk almost every night about Hollywood.
well, I've been in quarantine like everybody else since
Yeah.
March, and I've been just
And
doing nothing but writing. I'm writing my book. I'm writing a cartoon show. I'm working on a documentary. Everything I can do, I'm doing
oh, I
from home.
know.
And so I've been writing a lot about my beginnings, and that's why I'm not answering the rest of it. You'll have to buy my books.
That's a
I'll give you a
great
substantial
idea.
discount, but it's only
I will get a discount. Will you
tiny,
sign it?
a
Will you
tiny
sign it?
discount. But the charge for signing it will bring it right back up.
Yeah.
So
Well, what happened to me, I'm in 1939. How about that? Is there anybody out there watching that,
no,
39? It's amazing to me that not only can remember my whole life, because being on, wait a minute, what does
It
that
just
mean?
occurred to
No,
me.
you have to. Now you have to look down at him.
I've seen so many of these things before, and it never has occurred to me till right now that that you could be looking down at me and I'm looking up
Look
at
down.
you.
Look down at him right now. Just look down.
Look down at him?
Yes,
Look
like
way
you're a Brady
down. Look
Bunch. So
way
look,
down.
I
look at my
was
hand.
I was looking
There you
down.
go.
You mean
there
I
you
gotta
go.
look
Yes,
down
there
at
you
the,
go.
When you talk, look down at him.
I did look down. I'm talking directly to you.
You do. Yes, you do look down on me.
This is like, oh
I was
God.
surprised to get this call since you really do look down on me. But no, this
That's
has just made me
Kelly.
think of the way that Ernie Kovacs used to use the medium of television. And I once, many years ago, I saw Alfred Hitchcock on an episode of his show, using the sides and the top of a TV screen, like he was trapped in your TV, going like, oh, like how do I get out of here?
In this box.
I always just thought that was really interesting.
Well,
Anyway,
not that interesting, but that's okay. We all laugh. We laugh.
Back to 1830, whatever.
Okay, no. 1939. I saw my first movie, The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm.
The first movie. I got in for nothing because I knew my dad knew the man that opened and closed the curtain before and after the movie, and he snuck me in to the first screening of it. When I left, I knew that I was a little bit too tall to be a munchkin. So yet I wanted to be something in that world. And I wasn't interested, I was only 10, in acting. And a week later, I saw a vaudeville show that my dad had a free ticket for. The Meglin Kiddies came to Providence, Rhode Island, where my family lived. And in the vaudeville, there was only one vaudeville theater. I saw a puppet act, and he had a clown that blew up a balloon, and the balloon broke, and I'm 10 years old. I got so sad for that clown. I never saw a puppet before, that I started crying so loud that everybody in the audience told me to shut up, because a couple brought me in. Well, that was proper, wasn't it? Yeah.
The beginning of a long tradition. And you haven't stopped crying. You haven't stopped crying since then.
No, wait. And then the ushers came down and asked the couple next to me, "Is that your kid?" They said, "No, we just brought him into the theater, and he's going to meet his dad after the show." And they threw me out of the theater. And I'm sitting in front of the theater crying my eyes out, and people walking by, "Where's your mom? Where's your dad? Should we call the police?" So that was my introduction to puppetry. And then in the first comic book, Superman comic book, which I didn't even own, a little kid down the block, there was an ad for a Hazel marionette, $3.95. I went to my dad. "Can I get that?"
Do you want me to tell the rest of this story? I know.
Yeah, would you? You know it?
This is leading right into like Dolly, right?
Dolly. And her name was Dolly. Because my dad said, "You're a boy and you want a dolly?" And
you and me, when we talk on the phone, I always go, "I've heard that story. You've told me that story already." And you go like, "I'm old. I get to
people that are old, they repeat, I mean, I'm sure the audience that's watching us right now, they've heard it too, maybe 2 or 3 times.
You think 2 or 3?
Paul, Paul, let me ask you, who?
You and me, people don't know this about us, but they're going to see they've already seen a few minutes of it, and they'll see a few more minutes. Like, we tease and razz each other so much that you know, people that that know us have suggested that we have an act together at some point.
Oh my God, the vaudeville might come back.
It's really
It could
just been
be.
a billing problem.
Who's going to get
Well,
Paul and Sid? That doesn't sound right to me.
no, it sounds great to me. It sounds great. This is why we're not, our names are not already up in lights.
Let me ask you something, Paul. Who are some of the stars that, you know, came into your life that, you know, with sort of stories never to be forgotten, or, you know, like
Who are what? I was thinking about the idea that you told me.
stars?
I'm not going to ask you any questions, and here you are asking me a million questions here.
Oh, well, ask me a question.
Okay, here's my question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
You have one of the all-time, I'm gonna not ask this in the form of a question. I'm gonna say a whole bunch of stuff that's gonna end in a question, because I thought one function I could perform as your guest on your show would be to tell people, blab, if you will,
Oh, I love it.
a bunch of stuff that people don't know and that you don't talk about very often.
Do
you
it.
talk about your house. I see people every single week going, you know, when are we going to see more of your house, and take us on a tour of your house and stuff. And our modern day relationship, because we've known each other a very long time.
Yes, we do.
And
Yes, we have.
we had a meeting after I'd already known you a long time. We had a meeting when I moved my show from New York, Pee Wee's Playhouse, to Los Angeles in the second year. We had a meeting then to talk about you guys getting involved in it. You wanted way too much money.
Wow, what happened to that? I
Yeah.
would have done it free.
Well, I wouldn't even be in a house right now if I'd had you. Like, no, I'm kidding. Or am I? No, but I wanted to say that our modern. I was at a party, and I sat at your table and was like, "Oh my God, I forgot about how great Sid Krofft is."
Come on.
It was a birthday party where somebody proposed. Someone got up on stage and proposed to their girlfriend. Do you remember that party? I don't want to drop the name of whose party it was.
God, I know. I don't remember.
Oh my God, it was.
Well, see, I'm 91.
I'd never
There
seen
are
that.
stories.
I've never been party to that before. I mean, I have since then. Somebody,
Uh-huh.
but at any rate, your phone.
Oh, I don't even know anybody. Why would my phone be ringing?
It's Brad, because he can't talk to me.
Yeah.
I was at home, and we have a mutual friend, David Arquette.
I love David.
And
Yeah.
David and I, we have an extreme. I know you know this already, but we have such an extreme, amazing bond, because I made David a vampire in the original movie of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I actually bit David's neck and turned him into a vampire.
Wow.
So that is a bond that will be forever. No pun intended, but it's a
you learn something new every day.
It's a really strong bond. We've always been really close friends. David, come here. Get in here. It's Sid. Oh my! You should see the gesture he just made at you.
We had him on many shows. I love him.
I don't know where
he's brilliant.
He's somewhere. Brilliant. Anyway, David texted me or called me and said, "I'm at Sid Krofft's house." This is what, like 8 years ago?
With his wife.
Yeah. He said, "I'm at Sid Krofft's house. Have you ever been to Sid Krofft's house?" And I said, "No." He said, "Paul, you have to go to Sid Krofft's house. If you don't get yourself to Sid Krofft's house, you are insane." And I called you, and I invited myself over to your house right after that, and the rest has been history. We've become.
So did you like it? What did you think?
I love your house. It's something you and I have in common, is we both have kind of kooky houses, although my house looks like kind of a normal tract house compared to your house. We both love the outdoors. We both have incredible grounds and outdoor areas around our house. Yeah. I think I have a more beautiful spot than you, but you have a more beautiful view than me. But I don't have any neighbors. You have neighbors, but they're not.
Let me ask you something. I paid $96,000 for 4.5 acres up here, 1972. And so what did you pay for your house?
I paid $12,000 for 17 acres.
You just,
And
you just can't stand me to be ahead, you know?
no, I can't. No, I can't.
No, you can't.
I got to tell you one thing. Well, wait. Now, I want to just say that the where I was really going with the thing about your house is a little known fact about your house is you have a bar, which I don't know what time you start, but I mean, you know,
I have a bar?
a bar, you know, where you like
Yeah,
to
but
have your
it doesn't work. The sink doesn't work, and I have no
people do
booze.
not know that you're such a jovial old guy because you're plastered all the time. You completely like I don't know what your liquor bill is, but it's got to
No,
be
wait a
scary.
minute. I
I
gotta
know.
tell
I'm
you.
kidding. I'm kidding.
No. If 3 presidents said they didn't inhale, okay. Everybody out there, you're hearing it for the first time because I've been asked this over and over and over, and my brother too.
Yeah. I think
I
everyone knows the answer to this already, by the way. But go ahead.
I did inhale. Okay.
Really?
It's no laughing matter.
No,
This
it
is
is. Come on, we're
serious.
both laughing about it. Uh,
Okay.
now wait, I'm trying to get to your bar, which I was kidding everybody. I was totally kidding. He doesn't drink at all. He's like
No.
a sober, crazy person. He's crazy, not from alcohol. And but you have a bar and it has bar stools that come out of the floor. They look like tree trunks, beautiful polished
Well,
wood.
they're the beams of the
And
barn.
they are shaped on the top.
Yeah.
Like when you sit down, excuse, I don't know how else to say it, but your butt just settles into those things because they're curved almost like a behind, almost like a behind. This is what I want you to tell people is like, why are the bar stools in your house seemingly so comfortable and shaped so much like a
Okay.
behind?
You want to hear the truth?
Yeah.
Marty and myself produced with Joe Layton, Raquel Welch's act in Vegas, where she played for, I think, 6 weeks at the Hilton Hotel. And it was Raquel Welch in the world of Sid and Marty Krofft. So she was surrounded with puppetry the whole 90 minutes. Insane act. And she came to my house for dinner, and the bar stools were leveled. And she came here. I'm not sure if it was her boyfriend or, or her first date or whatever, because they went up into my tree house, and but that's a whole other story. Okay.
We've got time. Go ahead.
That's okay. We have an hour, don't we? So I used Raquel Welch's butt in each one. Let me see, how many bar stools are there? 4, 5. I'm looking over at it right now. One day I'm going to show everybody, my house, because it took 14 years to build this house.
And you
3 of
built your
my
house.
friends.
You pretty much built that house.
Yeah, yeah. And it's built out of 2 65-year-old, which is 100 years old now, because I've lived here for 48 years. We tore down 2 barns. They were 65 years old near Bakersfield, and the lady wanted them down, and I couldn't. She gave us the wood, this beautiful wood, free, and I gave her $300 as a gift. And my whole house is built out of. It cost $300.
The wood. You know what I paid for the wood for my house? $45. $45, and I think I probably got 3 times the amount of wood you got.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Where did you
I'm
find
kidding.
yours?
No,
Mine?
I'm kidding.
No, don't be kidding with
I don't
me.
have any wood. My house is made completely of Legos and Play-Doh.
Yeah. Oh, really? It is?
Yeah.
I've been to your house only once. and that was when, we were talking about producing your show. I'm glad we didn't do it at that time because we only had about 5 or 6 shows going, and I mean we always had so much. Our dance card was always full, and but I would give anything to work with you. You're the
Well, this is a good segue into us making a slight announcement that we are working on something together. That
yes.
we're not. You cautioned me not to say a word about it, other than to
Well,
just.
because it's not ready, not ready to be exposed.
I've got to tell people what it is. Here's what it is, everybody. No,
Yeah, well, the minute you start, you know what? We got the button. We just have to hit the button and you go west. It's like, or I could throw water on you like the witch in the Wizard of Oz, right? And you'll just melt off the screen. What? No, you know what? I am so honored. I mean, I really am that you're on here today. We're like two trippy people on one, a split screen. It's great. I just
it
love
is.
it.
It's a constant contest of who's trippier, but you
Yeah.
always win. You're trippier. You're way trippier, I think.
I am.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
I've never done anything like this, this live on Instagram, because I always used to, when we got our star on the Walk of Fame, I think we were the last ones to get it last February.
You got it way after me. I got mine decades before.
Yeah, but how many people? Wait a minute. How many people showed up for yours?
In the thousands, a couple thousand, 2 or 3,000.
We only had 900.
What?
That's it. I mean, you, who am I? I'm not a star,
You did have yours right out in front of the brand new Funko store, though. That was pretty
right cool. At the entrance of the store. Yeah. No, it was amazing. So after I came home, Kelly, she's my sidekick here. When you hear laughs, it's Kelly. And they're not fake, they're real. And so Kelly, everybody should have a Kelly. I love Kelly so much. When I got home from the Star, she said, I've set up a lot of stars on Instagram, and you got to, with all your crazy stories, 28 years before Puffin Stuff and all the other stuff, I toured the world with my act, and like working on tour with Judy Garland and Liberace. Oh, Liberace.
You know what? I wasn't going to tell this, but I have to tell this anyway. Because
right.
I don't think I've heard all your shows on Instagram, but I don't think you might have told this story, but I was just going to say, in case anybody didn't hear this, and I'm going to put it in a little bit of a different context, but I love to tell other people's stories in addition to my own.
Please.
Because I feel like I'm a storyteller and I'm a writer, and so I know the structure. You a lot of times you give this is a slight criticism, only slight, but a lot of times you give the punchline away like early.
Oh, do I?
I do. I do that also sometimes.
You're a comedian. I'm not. I can hardly speak.
No kidding.
Yeah. So the Liberace.
But I wanted to say that you have a story that starts out like it's the greatest beginning to a story that goes nowhere of anybody I have ever met. It's the greatest first line of a story that you're going like, what? Oh my God. It's like when I'm not that ashamed to say that I'm currently watching The Voice on NBC. You and I talk all the time about like, you're calling me your line is, you're calling me during America's Got Talent, and I'm like, you're calling me and The Voice is on right now. But it's like on The Voice when the person's going like, I don't know, should I go with John Legend or Kelly, or John Legend or Kelly? And then they go like, commercial, and you don't know until later. You have a story like that you always say, I once walked in on Liberace and James Dean on the floor. And then I'm like, what? Like, what the heck? And the second half of that story is they were painting crystals with gold paint. And I'm like, oh my God, that is like the worst ending to that story possible.
Yeah,
Like,
but you know what you left out? The
what?
newspapers were spread on the floor, right? And the crystals, they were putting gold leaf. And I walked in and I said to both of them, what the hell are you doing? Those are crystals. And Liberace said, I love gold. You know? And James Dean was so fascinated with, everybody was fascinated with Liberace, you
I
know,
wish I would have
because
met
there was
Liberace.
no one on the planet. This man, brilliant performer. I
You
toured with him all
you
over
know
the
this
world.
you know this story. I think I've told you this before, but no one's ever heard this story.
Oh, I
That,
love it. Yeah.
I once walked in on Liberace on the floor. No, I'm kidding. It's your story. I I used to be an assistant to somebody. One of my earliest jobs in Hollywood was I was someone's assistant, and I half the day I had to like work at their office, and it was a real estate office, and it was on La Cienega. The building's still there in Hollywood, and the building was owned by Liberace, and on the
Antique. An
second,
antique shop. Yeah.
yeah, the second floor of it, there was a little tiny office in the top where he had his fan club, and there was a closet in that office where the gardening equipment was for the building. And every day I had to go 5 days a week. I had to go upstairs, go in that office, and get the hose out of the closet to water this planter out in the front. And every time I would go in there, this woman who was you probably would know her name. I can't remember. She ran.
No, she was the head of his fan club.
Yes.
I don't remember her name.
So I would like almost, I hope she's not watching, but I would like be like, oh my God, I hope she's really busy. And she would never be busy. And I would always go in there and she would go, do you have a minute? And I'd be like, you know, I mean, she knew I had a minute. So like, it was a trap. It was a trick question and a trap. And I would go, yeah, I have a minute. And she would open a drawer or open a box and pull out like big stacks of Polaroids and make me go through Polaroids with her. And she'd go, here I am in the game room in Palm Springs. Here I am in the house in Las Vegas in the re-gift room. I mean, like they were all Polaroids of her or just rooms
with Liberace
in Liberace's house. He wasn't in any of the pictures. It was just here I am. Here I am in the kitchen, you know, that kind of stuff. So one day it all paid off that I like listened, that I went through all that, because one day I walked up in there and she said, do you have a minute? And I was just about to go like, ah, and she said, sit down. And I thought, oh no, she's never asked me to sit down. This is going to be like really long. And she said, I'm getting rid of a couple of boxes, which, you know, to a hoarder, I mean, a collector, you know, I'm getting rid of a couple of boxes. Is like, what? And so she pulled out 2 cardboard boxes. I still have them. And she said, I want you to have these. And I looked in the boxes and they were all publicity stills. Everyone was different. 2 whole boxes of publicity stills of Liberace. And one of the pictures, this is where I'm telling you the story. One of the pictures, Liberace's like looking to the side like this, looking over his shoulder, and he's wearing a little shorty cape. The cape like only goes it only goes down like about a foot down his back.
and that was it.
Which part of me was like, when I first saw that, I thought, okay, like, you know, almost nobody and he's probably 19 in the picture. It was taken a very long, probably in the 1940s. And I was like, you know, people weren't wearing capes. I mean, you know, with the exception of like superheroes,
Superman,
men still aren't really wearing capes. But he not only had on a cape, but it was like this little shorty cape. It was just so crazy. And I forget what else he had on, but the the piece de resistance was he was wearing jewel encrusted hot pants. He had on short shorts way before, decades before hot pants were a thing. Probably
Well, he
before
did that in his act. He wore hot pants in his act.
jewel encrusted hot pants that
Yeah.
were so jewel encrusted that many years later, that was the inspiration for the jewel encrusted zombie box on Pee-wee's Playhouse. I'm not kidding.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. What a trip.
Yeah.
God, I wish we could tell him that.
Me too. I'm sorry
I
that
met him.
you know.
I met him in 1952 in New Orleans. I was playing the Roosevelt Hotel, and he was at the Mondrian. I did a radio show, and the DJ said, "You sound like you talk like Liberace. Do you know we just interviewed him a couple hours ago? Let's get him on the phone. See if we can get him on the phone." So I met him on air over the phone. We made small talk. The next time I was at the Lido in Paris, and he was a huge, huge star. And he came over for a vacation, and he came backstage at the Lido. So that's when I really met Liberace. He was very cool. Nothing like that movie that they did. Nothing like that. But he was
You and I
so.
went over to that house, though. We were at a party at the house where they filmed that.
Oh, at what's her name?
Yes, what's her name? It's kind of a name droppery name. It's not just a what's her name. We were at Zsa Zsa
The
Gabor's house
Bourgeois,
where they filmed
the
part
Liberace.
where that the pool was Zsa Zsa's pool.
But what about that party, Paul? Was that the best party we'd ever been to in our lives?
It was a pretty great party. The thing I remember the most about that party, I was just telling somebody last night, there was a little kid that was performing. I missed him. I didn't see him perform because it was such a great party. I left early. But
Oh, upstairs
there
in
was
the
a little
ballroom.
kid. Your friend there was walking around introducing his protege, his client, who was that clairvoyant who's become he wasn't famous then, but he was very famous. He's become very famous now.
Yeah.
But there was another kid. There was a kid there
That sang.
Yeah, who sang. I didn't see him, but I remember this so well. He said, I walked up to him, and when I was going up to him, I was thinking like, this kid's like 11. He's not going to know who I am. And he didn't. And I said, and I thought I wouldn't talk to him. And then I thought, nah, why not? Who cares? So I walked up to him and I said, hi, I'm Paul Reubens. I play a character named Pee Wee Herman. And I wear a red bow tie in my act too. Because he had on a little red bow tie. And he looked at me and he said, it's salmon. And then you, or maybe it wasn't you, somebody told me later, I told that story and they said to me, well, that kid was horrible. He was terrible. He was worst
he
singer
kept
ever.
saying,
so I wrote him into a show.
After each song, he kept saying, thank you very much. Is there anyone out there that would like a request? And nobody said anything. Any requests? He was like 10 years old. But Paul, weren't we asked to bring an Academy Award for her, for Zsa Zsa Gabor that night? And didn't you walk in with a little Academy Award that you bought down on Hollywood Boulevard for $5?
I don't remember that. I do own quite a few Academy Awards.
No, I mean the $5 one.
No, I own a lot of very cheap replicas of
You
Oscar,
do?
including like little miniature ones this big that I really love.
No, this was full size, but it was $5. And I remember you walking in with it, because we were asked to bring an Academy Award because she never won one, and she would really love, receiving Academy Awards from the guests that night. That party was insane. Yeah, that was really bizarre, but perfect for you and me because we love bizarre.
We were at a party, I already said this, we were at a party where a guy got up on the stage, the band took a break, and a guy got up on stage, and he said, I'd like to just dedicate this next song to my girlfriend, and he named her, and they put a spotlight on her out in the audience, and I was like, wow, this is interesting. And then I can't remember exactly what happened, but he like sort of like each couple of sentences I was going like, this almost seems like a proposal. And then I was like, oh my God, he's going to propose. And then he proposed. And, and the girl went like, got up on stage. And I feel like I could tell that she was like, you know, what now? What the hell do I do? You know, like, you know, I can't like go no in front of all these people, but I think she said no later. I think like she said,
but you know what? They're very happily married. They have 4 kids. He loves his kids and his wife. I know who they are.
So we've gone to parties together. We've gone to movies together.
Yes, we have.
You got me a ticket to. You got me in to see the Jungle Book, which I was dying to see.
I loved it.
And then you and me, I got tickets for us before it opened to see the Lion King, which we both were just like almost in tears at the end of. We loved it so much, and
whatever happened to those days?
You know, really, I decided I didn't care for you that much.
Oh, is that it? Yeah, but I thought we really like each other because we're both creative people.
It was very one way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was very.
Oh my God!
And by the way, what time is it? I'm getting on an Instagram call with Marty in a few minutes.
You are? I hope he's watching.
Marty, hi! If you're watching.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at my notes right now. I want to remember to talk for a second about that you shop at the farmer's market, that you go to the farmer's market. Everyone knows you at the farmer's market. People are like, oh my God, Sid Krofft.
I've asked you to come with me. You'd have so much fun.
It's in the morning, Sid. I'm not a morning person, Sid. No. Really? I buy all my stuff prepackaged.
But it's only 7 o'clock in the morning.
I didn't even know that fruit was off of a tree until I was like in my late 30s.
Really?
I only saw stuff packaged and frozen.
Where are you from? Where are you originally from?
It's a little too personal for something.
Is it? Oh, and you told me not to get personal. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So here's my other question. You did not, you've teased this a few times, but you've never really talked about it. And I'm bringing some of this stuff up that I figure people can like Google. They have this thing now called Google or Goggle, something like that. Yeah. And you know, people could Google your house. I'm just suggesting, everybody. You know,
no, they can't see the inside.
Oh, are you kidding? Have you been on Google Image? Sid Krofft's house?
Oh, really?
Oh my God! You don't have to do a tour. There's thousands.
Do I have to? Am I going to have to, after all these 48 years, move out?
Well, they're all my photos that were unauthorized that I posted. No, there's lots of amazing photos of your house online, so people could look that up if they wanted to. The other thing that people could look up and read about you are going to talk about it at some point, is your very famous lawsuit that to this day is taught in trademark schools, trademark law classes. But you know, just in case people don't know what I'm talking about. McDonald's, the hamburger place. Yeah. The happiest place. That's
Disneyland. Yeah.
McDonald's approached you, or you and Marty, to use likenesses of your characters for an ad campaign. And you guys said no. This is my version. I don't know if this is exactly right, but you said no. And they used your anyway.
No. You want to hear the story?
No, I only want to tell my version.
No, I don't like your version. It has nothing to do.
They stole all your stuff.
No. They came to us.
You walked in on the head of McDonald's on the
No.
floor with Liberace.
No. And Judy Garland. Mickey Rooney was there.
Mayor McCheese.
And yeah. Okay, this is what happened. We had the show business factory, and our doors were open to everyone after we built all the rides for Six Flags, because they supported that huge building. We had 250 people working there. And so I didn't want to let anybody go. So we opened our doors to Hollywood. And that's how the first thing that we were offered from Hanna-Barbera was the banana splits to design and build that. And at that time,
I love the banana splits so much. I cannot tell you how much I love.
well, that was my or our introduction to television. Okay, right after that, the agency, which was in Chicago for McDonald's, approached us with a sort of a big bundle of money and said, we want to do a campaign a la Puff and Stuff. We have the letter.
So how did they get to like the Hamburglar and all
No,
this?
and we started designing it. And then Marty was in Europe, and I got the call, and we're in the middle of designing all those characters that you see now, or and McDonald Land, and I get a call from the agency, and they said, we're not going to do it. And I said, fine, because we were only halfway through. We decided to not do it. They gave us something like, I don't know, 75,000 or 100,000. So I only went through half the money. I called Marty in London and said, Marty, they just canceled that account. Fine, you know. And I don't know, 3 or 4 months later, we saw the ads on television. We hired, it was hard to find a lawyer that could
But
handle
wait. Back up for
Yeah.
1 second. Just because most people don't know the ads, what we're talking about, even if you say Hamburglar, a lot of younger people don't know what that is. They stole your characters from Puff and Stuff
Right.
and turned them into like McDonald's characters.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were really, really obviously
Yeah, in
yours.
costumes and yeah.
So you had a very early example of what I think is
copyright infringement.
Yeah, but
what it
based
was.
on art, based on like
Yeah.
artwork, based on concept.
Okay,
and
so now we go to
period.
court, and
So you won $100 billion. People don't know this part. And
yeah, okay, we go to court, and knowing me, I've never been to court, and we only had one lawyer. They had about 10 that came in, and the jury. Every day I would come. I don't know, maybe over a month. That case went on. Every day I'd come dressed in my another little suit and my tie and everything. And the jury, the first day, they put me on the stand. And of course, my lawyer prompted what I should say. Well, when I went on the stand, you know, I had to, the whole truth of nothing but the truth, right? And then I started talking, and the judge said, Mr. Krofft, we didn't ask you a question. And that was the best thing that happened, because the jury from then on, you know, just waited for me to get on the stand.
you had Perry Mason represented you, right?
Excuse me?
Perry Mason represented you.
Perry Mason. Okay, we get on. Hey, thank you. I do forget names, and that's why I hang around with you, because you have a photographic memory. You know?
I do.
Yes, you do. They at the end, we won something like $35 million, right? Wait a minute. And the judge turned it over and only gave us $1 million.
What?
Yeah. So we don't
Oh.
know. Was the judge working
I'll
with?
be right there, everybody.
Yeah. Can you believe it? And Marty took the $1 million
So
and bought a
wealthy
house in
that
Maui.
this friendship has been totally about how wealthy I thought you were.
No, no, no. Hey, you want to know something? You know, I mean, it's fun what we do for a living, isn't it? I mean, and we
It
get
is.
paid for it,
We
but
don't care about money.
we hardly get paid. We're not like $20 million a picture stars, you know?
Well, speak for yourself. What do you think I get?
Oh, really? Well, can I borrow some money?
No, I'm really sorry.
No.
I thought you just asked to borrow some money from me.
Well, well, I did, you know? I have bills too to pay.
Listen, you seem really busy. I'm gonna let me run for a second. I'm looking at the clock. I mean, we're gonna get cut off in a minute. We're
Why?
going.
How long have we been on, Kelly?
I've been pointing at the time the whole time. You've been
I
ignoring
could
me.
feel it. I could feel
Oh
it.
my God.
So I want to tell one thing before we get cut off. May
Yeah.
I? Please.
Yeah.
I want to just go back in time to about a decade ago. I rebooted my stage show that was really one of the very first things I did, called the Peter
Fabulous.
Herman Show,
Yeah.
that you saw at the Roxy
Oh,
Theater, many 1980-ish.
yeah.
And it really kind of put me on the map. It was a show that I did out of spite and anger and bitterness because I didn't make the final cut on SNL, which I owe my whole career to that happening. And so I produced and co-wrote and worked with an amazing group of people on a stage show. And I don't know, many years, 10 years ago, I decided to reboot that show. And we did a kind of a partial rewrite, and I did it down here in Los Angeles at LA Live, and then it later went to Broadway. And the opening night of it, that was very star-studded.
Yeah.
I went to
Everybody.
college. I went to college with David Hasselhoff, who I was just talking to yesterday, and I was telling a group of people. We had our reunion, a college reunion from Cal Arts, that included David Hasselhoff, and Katie Segal was in my class, and there were just 10 of us, and we had a reunion on Zoom yesterday.
You told
And
me.
I was
Fabulous.
telling David, I was telling the group of people that 10 years ago at the premiere of this show, the hugest stars that were there were all like, is that David Hasselhoff? Like, Paul, could you introduce me to David Hasselhoff? I was like kind of shocked. I have to say, I love David, but I was surprised at how people reacted to him. And at any rate, I realize this is a story that ends with I love that story because it really has no ending to it. It
Yes,
was
it does.
kind of, you had to be there for this, but I at the end of the show, and it was a lot of work, and I really wasn't sure whether I was too old or people weren't going to be interested in it or whatever.
Oh,
And
God.
it was really great. I felt so
Fabulous.
wonderful at the end of it.
Yeah.
And there was a big party afterwards, and I was just feeling kind of fragile just because I was going, wow, this has been what an incredible night. And I walked out of this door into this room full of people. And I mean, I invited most of the people, and you know this about me. Lots of people don't, but I'm in touch with practically every single person I've ever met. I love friendship, and I love like having
And their
and
birthdays. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so in front of me was every single person I've like known in show business, practically in Hollywood. And I was just going like, wow. I looked around, I looked at this person and that person, this person and this person, and all of a sudden I looked over, and you, like, a couple people parted, and I saw you, and you like pushed it over the edge to me. I saw you, and I just burst into tears.
I remember that.
I could not contain it anymore. I was like, oh my God, this is such an amazing night. And then there you were at it.
Oh, my God.
I
Thank
just
you
like
so
burst
much.
into tears. So it was a way to just say, you know, I want people to know I'll put this on tape right now, and you'll have this in writing at some point. Not, but
Thank you.
But I'm always crazy about you. I love you
Oh,
so much. I think that's what's
thank you.
made us into like such a funny duo, is because we really genuinely like each other and we love what we do in our work. I love what you've done. You love what I've done, and we have a lot in common. And anyway, I'm like so excited to be here and be talking to you. Said
Oh, Paul, there are no words. Thank you
Come on,
so.
think of a few of them.
No,
No, I'm
no,
kidding. I'm
no.
joking.
I'm looking. They don't have those words in the dictionary. Why are you looking up?
I'm
Oh
looking
You're
my.
up
supposed
at
to look
you.
down.
It's the split screen.
Look
You're
down
supposed to
there,
look
yeah.
down.
Oh, I'm supposed to look down.
Yes. See, there you go. Look down.
Okay, I'm looking down.
There you go.
There you go.
No.
There you
Top.
go.
Am I talking to you now?
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to look down. Don't look
I'm
down.
looking at you. Oh my God, this is the part of show business that
Here's
it's
looking at you,
hard.
kid. Here's
It's
looking at
hard to
you.
be on. First of all, I don't like what I look like. I mean, come on. I was sort of cute when I was young. What are you doing?
You were cute. Yeah.
When I was young, what happened to all of that? I have a mirror. It's frightening, but I still have my shit together and my mind, and I love waking up every day, and I love your calls, or I call you or you call me, and every single week I want everybody to know how grateful I was. When I go off Instagram, there's always a call from Paul to tell me, you know, and congratulate me, or what I did wrong.
Yeah, what
Oh,
you
he
did wrong.
lets me
Mostly
have
it's
it.
notes. Mostly it's like, oh my.
No, you really let me have it, But I never thought I could do this. I really didn't. I refused. Okay,
Well, no,
it's
I
4
really feel
o'clock.
like, 40, 50, 70 more shows and you're going to have it. You
We're
really.
going to go off. Hey, Paul, next week. Uh,
I'm coming every week now. Every
Oh,
week.
you are? Oh, how cool.
I know all the lines. It'll be
Dr.
my show
Shrinker. I'm
sooner
going
than
to talk
later.
about Dr. Shrinker.
I'm
Billy
pushing my
Barty.
I'm pushing my way right in. This will be
Oh,
my show very
please.
soon.
You will come back
You'll have like
someday?
30 seconds at the top of the show.
Oh, really? Oh, God, that would be the jewel of the crown. Thank you so much. Paul, thank you. I love you. Kisses back. Thank you. Love you.